Sometimes the smallest act of kindness can change someone's life forever, and sometimes those acts come from the most unexpected places. This is a story about a cashier, a boss, and a truth that will leave you speechless. It's a tale of humility, compassion, and the power of human connection. So sit back and let me take you on a journey that will touch your heart and remind you that no matter how big or small your role in life, you matter in a bustling city where skyscrapers kissed clouds and the streets hummed with the rhythm of hurried footsteps. There was a small grocery store tucked away in a quiet neighborhood. It wasn't fancy, but it was a place where people came to find comfort in the familiar. And at the heart of this store was a young woman named Emily Carter. Emily was 24 years old with warm brown eyes and a smile that could light up even the gloomiest of days. She had been working as a cashier at Green Valley Grocery for 3 years. To most, her job might seem ordinary, but to Emily it was everything. She didn't just scan items and hand out receipts. She made people feel seen. She remembered their names, asked about their families, and always had a kind word to say. She was the kind of person who made you believe in the goodness of the world. But life hadn't been easy for Emily. She had grown up in foster care, moving from one home to another, never really belonging anywhere. She had learned early on that the world could be a harsh place, but instead of letting it harden her, she chose to be kind. She believed that if she could make even one person's day a little brighter, it was worth it. One rainy afternoon, as Emily was arranged in a magazine by the checkout counter, a man walked into the store. He was dressed in a simple gray hoodie and jeans, his face partially hidden under a baseball cap. He looked like any other customer, but there was something about him that caught Emily's attention. Maybe it was the way he hesitated by the end rants, as if he wasn't sure he belonged there, or maybe it was the faint lines of worry etched on his face. Emily greeted him with her usual warmth. "Hi there, welcome to Green Valley. Let me know if you need help finding anything." The man nodded slightly, but didn't say much. He wandered through the aisles, picking up a few items here and there, a loaf of bread, a carton of milk, and a small packet of cookies. When he finally came to the checkout counter, Emily noticed that his hands were trembling slightly. She didn't say anything, but she made sure to handle his items with extra care. "That'll be $12.50, she said, her voice soft and reassuring. The man fumbled with his wallet, his fingers shaking as he pulled out a crumpled $10 bill and some loose change. Emily could see the embarrassment in his eyes as he realized he was short. "I think I'll just put the cookies back," he muttered, his voice barely above a whisper. Emily paused for a moment, then smiled. "Don't worry about it, it's on me today." The man looked up surprised. "Are you sure?" "Absolutely," Emily said, her smile never wavering. "We all need a little pick-me-up sometimes." The man's eyes softened, and for first time he smiled. "Thank you. You have no idea how much this means to me." Emily handed him his bag, her heart swelling with a quiet joy. "Take care, okay?" As a man walked out of the store, Emily couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to his story, but she didn't dwell on it. She had learned long ago that everyone had their struggles, and sometimes all they needed was a little kindness to get through the day. What Emily didn't know was that the man in the gray hoodie wasn't just any customer. His name was Daniel Harper, and he was a CEO of Harper Enterprises, one of the largest retail chains in the country. Daniel had built his empire from the ground up, starting with a single store and turning it into a billion-dollar business. But somewhere along the way, he had lost touch with the people who made it all possible, the employees who worked tirelessly to keep his stores running. Lately, Daniel had been feeling a growing sense of unease. He had everything money could buy, but he felt empty inside. He had become so focused on profits and growth that he had forgotten why he started his business in the first place: to make a difference in people's lives. Determined to reconnect with roots, he decided to go undercover and visit some of the stores anonymously. He wanted to see firsthand how his employees were treated and whether his company was still living up to its values. Green Valley Grocery was one of the stores he chose to visit. He had expected to see the usual hustle and bustle of a busy store, but what he hadn't expected was Emily. Her kindness had caught him off guard. In a world where people often looked out for themselves, Emily had gone out of her way to help a stranger. It was a small gesture, but it had touched him deeply. As he walked back to his car, he couldn't stop thinking about her. There was something about her that reminded him of the person he used to be, someone who believed in the power of kindness. Over the next few weeks, Daniel found himself returning to Green Valley Grocery more often than he had planned. Each time, he would buy a few items and strike up a conversation with Emily. He learned that she had a passion for baking and dreamed of one day opening her own bakery. She spoke about her dreams with such enthusiasm that it was impossible not to be inspired by her. But as they talked, Daniel also noticed the shadows in Emily's eyes. She didn't talk much about her past, but he could sense that she had been through a lot. He admired her resilience and her ability to find joy in the little things. She was a reminder of what truly mattered in life. One day, as Daniel was leaving the store he overheard Emily talking to her manager. She was asking for a raise, explaining that she was struggling to make ends meet. Her manager brushed her off, saying that the company couldn't afford to give her more money. Daniel felt a pang of guilt. He knew that his company could afford to pay employees better, but he had been so focused on cutting costs that he had overlooked the people who were the backbone of his business. That night, Daniel couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about Emily and the countless other employees who were struggling to get by. He realized that he had been so caught up in the numbers that he had forgotten the inside of his business. It was a wake-up call, and he knew he had to do something about it. A few days later, Daniel returned to Green Valley Grocery. But this time he wasn't in disguise. He walked into the store wearing a tailored suit, his presence commanding attention. The employees immediately recognized him, and whispers spread like wildfire. Emily was at her usual spot by the checkout counter. When she saw him, her eyes widened in shock. "You're dead, Daniel Harper," she stammered. Daniel smiled gently. "Yes, I am, and I owe you an apology." Emily was speechless as Daniel explained who he was and why he had been visiting the store. He told her about his journey and how her kindness had inspired him to reconnect with his employees. He also admitted that he had overheard her conversation with her manager and that he was deeply sorry for not doing more to support his staff. "You reminded me of what truly matters," Daniel said, his voice filled with emotion, "and I want to make things right." Daniel didn't just stop at apologizing. He announced a series of changes that would benefit all employees, including better pay, improved benefits, and opportunities for growth. He also offered Emily a position in the company's corporate office, where she could work on developing her baking skills and eventually open her own bakery under the Harper Enterprises umbrella. Emily was overwhelmed. She had never expected her small act of kindness to lead to something so life-changing, but more than that, she was grateful for the opportunity to pursue her dreams. As for Daniel, he had found renewed sense of purpose. He realized that success wasn't just about profits, it was about making a positive impact on people's lives. And it all started with a simple act of kindness from a cashier who cared. Sometimes the smallest gestures can have the biggest impact. Emily's kindness not only changed Daniel's life, but also the lives of countless others. It's a reminder that no matter who you are or where you come from, you have the power to make a difference. So the next time you have a chance to be kind, take it. You never know whose life you might change.